Hey guys, I almost choked there. It's James from Life Transitions, just going live on a casual Sunday. Cicadas are going nicely in the backyard here. Really casual Sunday, really relaxing, and just in the backyard taking some moments here. It's funny, we have a lot of things happen when you work in the funeral industry. Most of them you could never tell publicly because they involve a family and they're private. Of course, you'd never tell those. Part of being a good undertaker is you protect people's privacy. But sometimes things happen to me personally that I'm not affecting someone else's privacy. It's just my own. And this is a story, I've never told this publicly, just told it to a few people privately. And so I'm going to tell it to you right now on Facebook Live. What the heck? It's a world exclusive. A few years ago, well, for the last several years, I managed a place called Bowman Funeral Home in Chatham. It was owned by a large corporation called Arbor Memorial Inc. Great employer, but the funeral home I was managing at the time was owned by this large company, and it was, of course, this is a good piece of the puzzle. It was April 1st, about 3 years ago. And I get this email. It was an internal email through our company corporate website. So it was an internal email to me directly, but through that system. So I'm thinking this is someone in the company. And the email, and this is April 1st, I got this message, and it said, hi, I am so-and-so and so-and-so, two names there. We're some producers in LA, and we would like to talk to you about doing a reality show. And so right around that time, there had been a news piece and a news article about this goofy funeral director, me, that also does stand-up comedy. This kind of oddity, which is always nice to be considered an oddity. But so all of this is happening at the same time. I get this email, April 1st, which we know what happens on April 1st. This email saying, hey, we want to do a reality show about you, and we're producers in LA. And I'm thinking, like, so I just responded something like, hey, you know, very funny. Yeah, I got some land for you in Florida, blah, you know, something like that. And I figured it would go away. The next day, on April 2nd, I get this email from the same guy saying something like, you know, oh, I should have looked at the date. Of course, you're going to think this is a joke. My name is such and such, and my partner is so and so. We are producers in Los Angeles. This is my contact information. Please contact me. So now I'm really intrigued. I'm thinking, what? This is a really elaborate gag. I contact this guy, and it turns out he is a producer in Los Angeles, and so is his partner. They specialize in reality shows. Many you've probably seen. They sent me a bunch of links to Vimeo pilots they've been doing right at that time, and they said, look, we were sitting around brainstorming. We thought, you know, a good reality show, or maybe a funny odd one, would be a funeral director that does stand-up comedy. And they said, we Googled that and we found you all the way up in Canada. And I'm thinking, all this is how I'm thinking, this is a real thing. I'm freaking out. And so we talk more and more, and he says things like, okay, this is our plan. We'd want to do a reality show basically based around me. And like, I'm a human being. I'm thinking, like, me? I'm feeling like this is a big deal. He said it would involve the staff of the funeral home itself, of course, myself, my family, like the classic, you know, what's become the classic reality show scenario with all of these moments and on and on and on. And I'm just going, I'm thinking, I'm trying to play it cool, but I'm freaking out. I'm thinking, is this my big deal? Is this my thing? And so, of course, I tell my wife, I tell Leanne, and bring this information home. And he says, yeah, please don't tell anyone else. And then I'm thinking, well, why not? He said, well, we don't want anyone to steal this idea. I'm thinking, this is what? This is, so I'm freaking out. Leanne and the kids are saying, like, a reality show about us? That what it, you know, just, you can probably imagine what that would be like. It's happening. So we start into a good week or so back and forth in emails and phone calls, and this person saying, okay, right off the bat, we need to know, what won't you do? What are your limits, type of thing? And I said, well, I'm a Christian man, so there's, you know, anything that would you know, bring disrepute to that. I don't want to go against my convictions. You know, a family guy. In regards to comedy, I only do clean comedy. I do comedy without swearing, and on and on and on. So I'm not going to do anything that's going to breach that. And also, I'm a very committed funeral director, and I work for a large company, so I don't want to do anything that's gonna put a negative shadow on that either. So those are my things. Those are my things, non-negotiables. Other than that, hey, let's do it. And so they start throwing these ideas out. He seemed to understand what I'm saying. Like, these are things that lines I won't cross. And so he starts presenting these ideas about a pilot, about and script ideas. Because in case you don't know, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, reality show is about 99% scripted completely. You're put in scenarios, but everything is scripted. So he's running these scenarios, these scripts, and every single one of them crosses those lines that I'd said. I don't even really want to repeat them, but they involved sexually explicit things. And he said, swearing is going to be required. Like when you're talking with the staff, we need someone to have a problem with something, and they're like, "You effing this," and I said, "But we don't really talk like that." He goes, "It doesn't matter. People want that stuff," and I kept kind of trying to, well, let's tweak it this way, and I'm trying to salvage this thing because I really want this to happen. We got to the point where he's saying, okay, everyone needs to get their own lawyers, and meaning that if this was to go forward, we all need to have different representation, and they're drawing up paperwork and on. Like, this is getting really, really spooky and real. But again, it was back to these script ideas that they were inappropriate. I didn't want to be part of them. Also, I'm working for a company that has no idea this has even been sent to me. And so I'd be essentially giving the okay to film a reality show in one of their funeral homes. So I'm just going bananas. I'm thinking, like, wow, a show about me? Amazing. Ego is going boom. But then also thinking, like, I've got to break a bunch of my own rules and maybe deceive a couple people to make this even happen. And so finally, we get to the point that there was two pilot scripts put together, and I'll let you know they came up with this great name, which I thought was clever. The show of the reality show that would be essentially about me. Yes, I know. I'm sick of hearing about me myself. It was going to be called "Who Died and Made You Funny," about a funeral director that does stand-up comedy. And so there was two pilot scripts put together. We're reading through them, and there's cringy spots, and I'm trying to justify it in my mind. Talking with Leanne, we're talking about this, we're praying about this, and so 2 weeks in, we're ready to. They're ready to have essentially like a Vimeo pilot put together that they would shop, and they claim to have great connections with Bravo and other places to shop this pilot. So we kind of get right to the 11th hour, and we realize it's overwhelming on our side that there's no way we could really be part of this because, the employer thing, the compromising thing, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I contact this guy, Rick was his first name, and said, "Rick, I am so sorry to let you know this. First of all, I'm so flattered. We're so excited that we got picked, but I'm very sorry that we're going to need to decline this because of A, B, and C. And I'm really sorry to have wasted your time." And he was not kind. He was ticked off. He said, "We got hours into this. We have got writers into this, and you're a blankety blankety blank." And understandably, this is what he does. And we said, "No, we're declining." And I had to say, "Look, I hear what you're saying. I'm very sorry. Thank you for providing me a story that no one will ever believe. But thank you so much for that." And in that very moment, our reality show stopped before it even got started. And it was an exciting, bizarre chapter for the McNeil family. But ironically, Facebook Live kind of turns into a reality show in many ways. So James from Life Transitions, just a strange little funny story to share with you and the world for the first time. The reality show that never quite got off the ground. Who died and made you funny? Good stuff. And Rick, if you're watching, I'm sorry again, and I wish you all the best. Have a great Sunday, guys. It's gorgeous, overcast. Why don't you go to the beach? See you later.